It's spooky season. You just stepped into Asmongold's house and were introduced to the survival horror. There's only one problem: survival. These games are too hard. How did I get in there? These games are too hard, and just like me in real life, you never have enough guns, herbs, and anger management skills. I'm the nutjob who plays these games on hard, and believe it or not, you can too. Dare I say it, you might even have fun. Whether you're playing assisted or hardcore, here's how you survive the greatest survival horror. The first order of business, you gotta pick a game. Holy shit, there's a lot to pick from. How much money have I spent on this shit? Oh. Would have been cheaper to get into Warhammer. There's 3 distinct flavors of Resident Evil that we need to cover. You got your vanilla horror, your chocolate action, and your strawberry survival. Then you got the bullshit fucking turtle tracks. Yeah, I'm calling you guys out. I made timestamps in case you only care about a specific one. Let's start with what I would call the horror games. Those would be the games you see on screen right now. These are the easiest of the RE games. They look beautiful, and they're pretty easy to get your hands on. They're also the scariest of the bunch. Absolutely perfect for Halloween. Oh, how'd I get in there? Fun fact, if you install nude mods, they're good year-round. Then we have the action games. These games I highly recommend for someone who's a little more experienced with gaming. And 2 of these games are also co-op. Honestly, these games are the most fun, but don't let Reddit hear that part. They're not too scary though, because I mean, wrestling moves, like holy shit. Last, we have what I call the survival games. These games do not fuck around. If you want hard, these can get hard. We're talking invisible one-shot kill enemies hard. These games are scary, but in an entirely different way. You're gonna lose an hour of progress. It's that kind of scary. So some of you are asking, where's the best place to start? Well, you can play these games in whatever order you like. Not because the story allows it, it's because only losers play games from the store. Each game is also drastically different from the others in terms of mechanics, so they're all worth trying. Honestly, start with the one that looks the most interesting to you. But if you need a recommendation, I'll break it down a bit. My recommendation for horror would be Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's the most vanilla of all the Resident Evil games. You have limited resources and you gotta get around the zombies. That's about it. Now, everything I cover in this section is going to ring true for all of the horror games, but especially true for this one. You do not need to kill every zombie. I know you're a cop, but that's what the people are for. You technically have enough ammo to kill everything in the game, but that's not the point. You want to use only what you need to. So I would go around the zombies. There's plenty of helpful ways to do that. In RE2R, you can stun zombies with your handgun, and the best place to shoot is the knees. A few shots to the knees will accomplish one of 2 things. The zombie will either flinch, which means you can squeeze past, or its leg will come clean off, which means you can squeeze past even better. Plus, he gets disability pay now. I mean, to me, it sounds like you just did him a big favor. This tactic works all the way up to hardcore. You just need to use more ammo the higher the difficulty. But now you can get from one end of a room to another with 3 bullets instead of 90. Now, there's a way to do this with only 1 bullet, and that's to shoot the head. Kinda. In all of the more recent RE games, if you take extra time to aim, your crosshair changes to a solid dot, and the bullet will do extra stun. On normal difficulty, this guarantees you a pretty big window to just walk by, and it'll help you do those extra bits of damage to those more dangerous foes. Speaking of these guys, save your larger munitions for them. It's really wasteful to kill a licker with a pistol. Lickers are blind, so just walk slowly and you'll be fine, most of the time. If some bullshit happens, the shotgun and the grenade launcher have you covered, especially if you go for some skeet shooting. Don't bother killing this guy, because he can't. Your best option is to outrun him. Thankfully, he's really slow, and the best window is right after you juke him into missing his punch. It's just like dodging your dad's nutsack when you used to shower with him. And by the way, you can do this with the zombies too. The running part, not like the shower. You can avoid the attacks of every enemy in this game just by running a specific direction. However, the hit detection can be kind of boo-boo. Now, Mr. X is an enemy archetype called the Stalker, and these enemies appear frequently throughout the series. They can't be killed and they're designed to follow you throughout the game, except for save rooms. These are the perfect place to just hide if you need to. So now you know the basics. Let's talk some advanced strategy. There's going to be hallways that you're going to walk through dozens of times. In these, it would make sense to go out of your way to kill everything. The best way is to use your knife. You can take some legs off with your handgun and then finish them off for good with this guy. It's a little tricky, but it's much more preferable to being between a squad of zombies and Mr. X. If you get really good at this game, you can fight zombies like a man. Just keep in mind that your knife has a durability mechanic. Yeah, it's pretty controversial. If you really want to send those fuckers to hell, here's a nice little speedrunner trick. The knife does more damage based on how high your frame rate is, due to a bug in the game that Capcom never caught. Just a weird little fun fact for you. You also want to think a lot about inventory management. Every time you see an item box, just make a habit of opening it and putting something in there. Everything is shared between item boxes, so don't worry about having to run back to that specific one. Think of it like an ender chest in Minecraft.
And now, all the millennials and child groomers can understand. Let me know which one you are in the comments down below.
Leave 3 slots of your inventory open at all times. You're gonna find key items, you're gonna find ammo, and you're gonna find herbs. And all of these you don't want to leave behind. They'll be much harder to get later, trust me. Another tip. But how the hell do these keep importing into my editing software? Don't bring your biggest guns until you know that you need it. This will be kind of tricky on your first playthrough, but use some intuition. Boss fights usually happen in big open spaces. You can also access the item box after you've died to a boss a few times. So don't stress about it, you'll always get the chance to come prepared. You should always keep your handgun on you, and always keep a shotgun or grenade launcher for the surprise licker. Your magnums, revolvers, and flamethrowers, and the fucking crazy lightning guns, whatever this shit is, you can keep those in the item box till the boss comes around. All of this information I laid out will help you in all of these horror games. Psst, play RE4 next. Trust me, just do it. Now, Rainin, what do I do if the game is too scary to play? Buy a catheter. I don't fucking know, man.
Guns. 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 Guns.
The appeal for these games is the combat is so goddamn fun, and it's the most fun in Resident Evil 4 Remake. All of the other RE games have an arcade feel, but the Resident Evil 4 Remake is an immersive shooter, so it always helps to spend some time in the firing range and learn the behavior of each gun. If you've already played a lot of shooters, then you definitely know this, but every gun has its own recoil pattern, and just like Apex and Counter-Strike, you can cock block it. Just move the camera in the direction opposite of where the gun wants to fly. In the previous section, I mentioned that taking extra time to aim leads to extra stun. Well, in Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's used to control what's called bloom. This whole area in between these white points is where your bullet might end up. You can shrink that by standing still for a second. Here's another fun fact you can exploit. The bullets come out of the camera, not the gun. So you can actually shoot through walls like this. And the best part is you won't get vac banned this time. You're eventually going to come across some insect enemies, and thankfully, these guys use Reddit, so they're already pretty averse to the outdoors. Just give them a little bit of extra sunlight from your flashbang and they'll leave you alone. Grenades are good for when there's a little too much going on, and eggs are really good for Ashley. Now let's talk knives. They're fucking crazy in this game, dude. Not only do they do a lot of damage, but you can block attacks with them. All you do is raise it up before an enemy hits you. It's called a knife parry, and when you master this, you're unstoppable. And I have no clue why the hell people aren't doing it. Just a soapbox for a second. Do people not know you can knife parry in this game? The game tells you. The game tells you you can do it. I'm only putting this tip in this video because people somehow don't fucking know. Throughout the game, you'll find treasure and a whole bunch of gemstones. Unfortunately, you cannot legally combine these if you're over the age of 99. If you are currently 99 and under, feel free to combine the gemstones with your treasures. Also, make sure to use this multiplier chart here. Now, here's a tip a lot of people don't know. Some gems are worth more than others, so if you can only do a single color bonus, why not squeeze out a little more money and make that bonus out of the most expensive gemstone. I'm actually pretty embarrassed by how long this one took me to figure out. Let's also talk about this guy. This is the chillest character in the entire series. He'll buy all the random stuff you find and then he'll sell you weed. I mean, he's got guns too, but what the hell are you gonna do with that? The knife's got you covered. You can sell guns at the merchant instead of keeping them cooped up in an item box, which is really useful for when you find better guns out in the wild. Now let's touch on mercenaries, which is a recurring mode in this series.
Oh my god, it's not even Resident Evil this time.
In Mercenaries, you fight off waves of enemies to get a high score. And just like you can optimize your money with the gemstones, you can optimize your score in Mercenaries. Certain weapons give more points than others, and when you use a character's boost bar, it stacks a multiplier right on top of that. So figure out which weapon doles the most score and just spam it when the score multiplier kicks in. It makes getting those S ranks way easier. And while there isn't a meter in all of the other Mercenaries modes, you can still use a score multiplier trick in just about all of them. You just have to activate it in a different way. That actually describes all of the action games pretty well. They may not work exactly like Resident Evil 4 Remake, but they operate under the same basic premise. RE3R may not have the parry, but I'll be honest, this dodge roll is just as fun to master. It's all about learning the mechanics you're given and taking them to the highest potential. You evade stuff, you kill guys, you collect treasure, and you upgrade your weapons. What else could you possibly ask for? Well, shit, I guess I better whip out the card. So there's a really good reason why this video isn't start with RE1 and then call it a day. These early games are evil. Oh, fuck. Resident Evil. Thank you. That joke is so good, man. That joke is so fucking tight. You'll creep around the wrong corner and instantly die. The developers are assholes. They made this game just to fuck with you. So you need to have some pretty thick skin to make it out. Here's what you gotta keep in mind. Everything has a purpose. The movement sucks donkey dick because it makes narrowly escaping feel that much more exciting. If it's a little jarring, take advantage of the giant dining room to get your bearings. Just practice walking until you stop getting stuck like my stepsister. Once you wind up in the foyer again, you're going to want to be able to confidently run in a zigzag pattern, because it's the easiest way to throw off an enemy that's chasing you. The saves are tied to ink ribbons so that you'll look around for stuff, so interact with anything and everything in a room that looks even mildly interesting. You'll find tons of cool shit. You'll run into enemies that will be completely off screen. Just use audio cues and walk slowly to inch that new camera angle out. And if you walk too slow and you start to get bored, feel free to tape your phone to your TV and start playing Family Guy funny moments in the corner. Here's another tip. Do not bring the knife until you are going to use it. I know it sounds counterproductive. It sounds like it would be useful if you run out of ammo. You're not gonna run out of ammo unless you're using it when you're not supposed to be. Just like I mentioned in the horror section, you want to run from the zombies more than you want to kill them. That one inventory slot will make all the difference. Try to leave yourself 3 empty slots just for good measure. There's another reason you don't want to kill, well, except for taking some poor zombie's life, you fucking psycho. In Resident Evil 1 Remake, and this includes the HD remaster as well, killing the common zombies means they come back later, and they're way more powerful. The only way to prevent this is to burn their corpse. Chris brought some herbs and his own lighter, but you'll need to find some kerosene. This game does not give you a lot of that to work with, so use it wisely. And if you're playing as Jill, you'll have to find and carry your own lighter with her. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to burn too many of these guys. Let's also talk about different characters, by the way. In Resident Evil 1, you can choose between Chris and Jill. Jill is by far the easiest. Barry frequently shows up to help Jill, and you can get a lockpicking kit, so you can skip the process of having to grab a few of the keys. She also runs faster and has more inventory space. Now Chris, on the other hand, is a bit harder because he's on his own. In his campaign, you have to be the Barry and protect Rebecca, who, by the way, just hours ago slaughtered a bunch of hunters, so I guess she just doesn't feel like doing it this time. What a bitch. Chris's order that he explores the map is a little different too, but he comes with a permanent lighter and more health. Jill is considered the more survival-focused playthrough, while Chris is considered the more action-style playthrough. If you can, I would actually sit down and play both, but I think that about covers covers it. I mean, most of this game is mindset. It's all about managing everything up here. Oh, I forgot something. So you do need to write a police report for every enemy that you kill. So hopefully you took the time to collect their IDs and take pictures of the crime scene and collect evidence, or else your boss is going to make you march all the way back and do it all over again. So, just do it the first time. Get your ass in uniform.
Holy shit, who keeps...
Nemesis. That about covers everything. Genuinely try as many of these games as you can. Like, there's just no way to sum it up in a 20-minute video. But hopefully I inspired some people to try these games on Halloween, man. They're fun. They're fucking awesome. If you've never seen my videos, I'm Rainin Noodles, and I'm the nastiest Capcom fan on the planet. I make Capcom videos and live streams, and it's been a really long time since I put out like an actual like full video. A lot of people subbed in that big gap in between, so I better shout them all out. Huge motherfucking up stew. The Y sock, Durandra 26, DNM, Asex as an asexual, J Money, dollar signs. I got some dollar signs there. Jabba the Butte, Diglett2, Milk, Wham XXXXX, goddamn, Alan Polka 1424, COS, the Postal Dude, Restless Nexus, Purple A, Metal Storm Apocalypse, that's fucking tight, dude. Ghost 27, William Robinson, Javone Brown, Squiggly Dickley, Sketchier Sky, Anthony B, Zen Morte, Neesoth, Adam Edwins, Kenzie in the Minivan, Sir Kibble Fox Dragon, Lead Me to the Bliss, Resist This, Lycans 8, CF Juan Top, that one dude from Egypt, Leo Carvalho, Ender of Slender, Colt Gunner, I Like Bread, Lord Daloa, Bill Dipperly, Mr. Pancake, see what I mean by I had a lot of them, Nicholas Scutch, Verifluct, Redicra 9, the Dragon Dog. Okay, I kind of do remember that guy. But yeah, we might as well shout out a few more while we're here. Officer Snickers, Rex Hirvonen, Headshot Slinger, Randon Teflon, Somebody Nobody, Nero 149, Richard Doctorius, Schmort. Oh my, I'm not gonna fucking say that one. Poignant Knight and Cray Boulius, a regular ass skeleton, Hysteria, Kyanix, Scoff, Lawrence, Bam Bam, big ups to Bam Bam, Ghosty, Big Box, Vile. Also a shout out to That Bird Thing, who is my 518th subscriber. Yeah, that's how far back this fucking subscriber list goes. But they didn't want me to forget about them, so sure, I'll put them in this video. Thank you so much to That Bird Thing. And all of my regular stream viewers too, I'm starting to get a lot of those people. So a lot of people showing up to the live streams. It's fucking tight, dude. It's so tight. Thank you all. Are you jealous of all those people who had their names on screen? Well, those guys joined my cult and became official Rainin Noodles followies. What's a followie? It's like a groupie following a rock star, except I won't ask you to buy a whole new shark card every time I drop an update. Hey, before you start gooning, I see you're about to do that. If you want to become a followie, then help out Jill real quick with that subscribe button. Beat its motherfucking ass. And you can look forward to me making a video just like this for Devil May Cry in like 5,000 years. See ya, perverts.